Hey everyone, I hope everyone's well. So today we're going to discuss Russell Brand. Now this is going to be, I think there's going to be two main splits on this, and then there might be those that are in the middle, okay? Whatever I bring up on this, firstly, the last thing that I'm going to end with, which I must remember that I want to end with this main thing, and the reason why I'm doing this as well, because I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of readings for topics or regurgitation of whatever's out there, okay? What have I seen so far? I've seen a thumbnail that said Russell Brand SX allegations of rape, 16-year-old, and he was 30. And then I think there's been 4, and then there was something on Channel 4 that was coming out which I thought was a bit fast and seemed ludicrous, and also that the major newspaper The Sun involved. So when I mention, if I don't mention the channel, it's that channel and The Sun. This is for entertainment purposes only. Use your own discernment, your own facts. And I'm going to do a little reading, but to be honest with you, again, it's around my 2 cents. A little bit, it mainly ties in with where I did the September predictions, but then I went into world predictions. I mentioned about sort of chaos, and also the unpredictability of people, and trying to test people and see the reaction and how far things can go. Okay. The other reason is, and so that I mentioned that I've seen that, the other reason is we always say that there's a freedom of speech, but there isn't really, unless you're conforming to what has been told or said. And I'll give you some examples on that, and what is a safe area to conform in. The other thing that I don't like about certain things is, I mentioned it in one of my last readings, Summer Wells, Sarah Sharif, and Maddie McCann, of the whole system of support for vulnerable people, people with mental health, relatives of people with mental health or addiction, etc. Unless you're at your very end, even not in that, even in people, I've noticed it on YouTube, unless you come out and say, well, I don't have money to buy this equipment, or I don't have money, or this is what I'm trying to, I have this issue right now in my life, and so I'm trying to add and do this or that to bring in income. People are so judgmental on what they see and are so narrow-minded that they will actually attack people. And then when someone is at their wit's end, okay, and this is what I'm going to go into as well, and totally just lost themselves, or they're, you know, they've tried to commit suicide, for example. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please use your discernment and facts. Then only do people come around and actually, even on YouTube, will support you. Or if you're a YouTuber, or let's say a broadcaster or someone, unless you come out and say, oh, I'm having a bad day, and you start crying, etc., then do people take you seriously, or give you some affection and compassion. And this is totally wrong. This is the ignorance of human and mankind, and that needs to stop, because you're often dealing with people that have not come might be facing things at home with relatives or people that maybe even have addictions, and they have no choice but to be in that environment, or they could be in certain circumstances in their personal life or a loss in their personal life, and they're trying to keep things together. But unless someone is at a crisis point that you can actually see, do people actually show a bit of love, kindness and compassion? So I'm just going to read what one of the, so I'd seen what that thumbnail, I didn't click on it, and then my whole YouTube seems to have turned to that, and I guess there might be a lot of tarot readings on it, there might be a lot of news reporting on it. There's going to be popular influencers talking about it. There's going to be two polarities on it. And so there's going to be those two sides. But what I did do is I went onto Instagram and looked for Russell Brand's page to see if he's active, to see what he's actually, like, how serious is this? Is he taking it seriously? Is it something, whatever. So I've seen that, I think he's put a 5 or 6 minute video up. This was about 4 days ago that I'd seen it. I think he'd had it up maybe a couple of days. So he might have posted something after that, or he might be quiet, I don't know. And he said he's going to defend himself. The other thing is, it seems like, you know, this is another area where we are not allowing, we say, be vulnerable, open up, people are allowed second chances in life. But really, I mean, now, if someone is guilty of a serious crime or any, you know, I don't even agree with if someone crosses your boundary, man, woman, whoever you are, if you crosses someone's boundary where they've made it very clear that maybe this is their personal boundary, maybe they're, you know, at work, maybe they are not interested in talking to you more than what work is, if you're trying to get to know them more, whatever it is, if they've been very clear this is their boundary, that needs to be respected, and I'm very much up for that. It, you know, it doesn't mean if someone's polite about something. So this is from the very minimalist level to the extreme of obviously rape, which I totally disagree with. It totally impacts the person beyond just what happened. It also goes down to that person's character, and then how it can maybe go down to the children, how they treat the children, even though they're trying to do their best. There might be a dissociation. There's a trauma there unless they get healing or work through it, okay? And so it could also linger in terms of the people that they speak to, the people that they attach to. So it's not only about the crime that's happened, it's about the whole life of what happens to that person. If they get healing, some people then go down a route of, you know, diminishing their own self-worth because of what's happened, when boundaries are extremely important. That's what I'm trying to get to, in all forms. And even I did a short on Lucy Letby and Joe Biden. I'm going to give the short update on the answer on where I'm coming through in terms of that. Look out for that. So the mess, it says, okay, that according to the report, the other thing is, what I don't understand is, why is it all over media? Why is it all over media? Why is it, which I'm going to come to in a moment, why is it splashed around totally all over media? What's the difference between this person, RB, and someone else that's done it? We get it, we do get it in the media, but there's a difference on the angle that this is coming from. And also the word suspected is used until someone's proven guilty. But here I'm not sure if that word is respected. So in 2006, a woman claims, she didn't report it then, it's being reported now, so imagine how many years later, a woman claims that Brand sexually assaulted her during a 3-month relationship. This is according to the media broadcasters that I've mentioned. Okay, during a 3-month relationship in 2006 when she was 16, still at school, and RB was aged 30. And he was a BBC radio presenter, the host of Big Brother's Big Mouth. She told the Sunday Times they had met when RB approached her in Leicester Square after she had been shopping and proceeded to go through her shopping bags and critique her purchases. She said he took out a dress and said, "You're going to wear this on our date next week." If they'd never talked and someone suddenly did that, I don't care who they are you not already going to feel there's an invasion there? There's something really, really weird and fishy. Yet you must have gone on a date with him and had a 3-month relationship. Just posing a question. Like, would you allow someone to do that regardless? Suddenly go through your shopping bags? She claims she told her mother, who advised her to text RB and tell him her age, but that he was untethered, and on the date asked her to confirm she was 16. So she still went with the date. It doesn't matter, does it? And I just want to say, rape doesn't have an age of consent if the person's not given you consent. But in terms of being active, active, 16 is the age, the legal age in the UK, and 35 states in the US. The woman said that over the following weeks, RB referred to her as the child and alleged that he was controlling, sexually, emotionally abusive. She said she sent a car to her secondary school to take her out of school, and it goes on. But I've not gone on with it. This went straight to the newspaper, and then obviously police need to also investigate, and there is a suspected victim, which I believe is 4 now, of rape. But it seems like it's all blown out before someone's even guilty. There's something about innocent until proven guilty. Take the safety measures. It's funny how we take safety measures in certain circumstances because there's a bigger agenda beyond it, as opposed to certain, 2 particular cases. I'm just going to go to those that I'm covering, of actually apparently a murder, a missing person. One body is found, the other body we don't even know where it is, and no one knows about it. No crime scene was locked off. So, is it the case that, because I'm not to put the allegations aside, I'm talking about these 2 broadcasters, media, that seem to, I'm not going to put that they're together targeting him, but there is a coordination. There is a coordination, obviously. They are together on it, obviously. And then when I saw a couple of days, Katy Perry says, I got out, and I thought there will be a day when I speak. I thought, okay, this is connected also now. Everyone's getting their buy-in, and it's the taking down of the higher, some organization that I know I believe she's involved with as well, coming into play as well. So even those that are not involved in what has been alleged, if there are victims, there's other people that are getting their buy-in. A bit like, which I can't stand, I've seen on thumbnails, like, I think on the Ruby Frank, okay, the husband saying he wants the kids. You're not going to tell me all those years that there was no abuse, you wasn't aware of it, because it was obviously on YouTube, and some people thought it was great because she had 2.2 million followers, which shows that people don't use their discernment or authenticity, and just when they see a channel with large followers, they tag along. Which is concerning, because if you followed that channel and you felt that it was delivering advisable content or advice for parenting, there's a massive concern there. Anyway, then you see that Jodie's niece and then Ruby's sister or whatever coming forward to tell the truth and etc. That's your buy-in. That's your buy-in to sell your story. That's your buy-in to get some money. Because honestly, you're not going to tell me, let's say what happened, the police, etc. ignored. You're not going to tell me if you didn't go around to one of their houses and said, listen, I am taking the kids, or I am reporting this, because this is not acceptable. It's beyond just abuse, okay? It's a child that's not being fed. And if you don't change, then I will be calling the police, and I'm going to visit regularly if you don't allow me to take the kids. Or go to the police station, report it. Just like that man reported it, the police could not ignore it anymore. And had to take it seriously. They're not going to be able to tell you, get out the police station, we're not going to look into it. Call the police when you're there. Don't come after everything's, oh, this is going to be my chip in, and yes, I was really concerned for them and stuff. I don't know what they said. They might not even said that, but what I can see is a thumbnail of them talking now. Why didn't you talk? Why didn't you report it prior? I have no respect for those type of people that just want to come out at that stage, because those kids have been through years of abuse, and I do believe that the husband knows. I believe the husband would have been present. I don't think the husband is as innocent as what's being probably made out to be. So in the same factor of this, everyone now is probably chipping in, when in fact it should be a focus on the person who's accused and the victims, until innocent until proven guilty, and when proven guilty, the person needs to be given their sentence of the crime by their law enforcement. But there's a big thing here about freedom of speech, and it seems because he didn't conform to let's take Leonardo DiCaprio, he conforms to being a speech advocate for animals, environments. Do you think they're ever going to target him? Of course not. RB had 6.6 million YouTubers and they demonetized him, I think, a couple of days ago. Fine. But what does that tell you? His reach is, I don't know anyone else who has that many, actually. I didn't even know he had that many. I was absolutely shocked. And it's so easy to target someone that's put their history out in the open and actually come in to actually change who they are, and then wait for a critical point or something to actually jump on the bandwagon when someone is at a certain peak, or when we need to then demoralize and kill that person's character and soul. Things he's spoken about, let's think of Chick Chick and think of new variants coming up. You want people that are going to be actually speaking for Chick before anything gets wider. It seems like everyone is just as if he's guilty and jumped on the bandwagon before it's even gone to court, you know, before it's been fully investigated. And it's similar to Jordan Peterson, which I extremely respect. I think he's a great advocate for a lot of life stuff, but also males and the masculine energy. And because he speaks out of the context of the box, I believe he had got an area demonetized. I don't know if it's YouTube, I don't know if it's something else. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own fact search and research and discernment. This is allegedly my opinion. And he was told he needs social media training. I don't know anyone that's much better at delivering a very clear context, professional message that is understandable for all, regardless of your level of understanding or IQ. Obviously, there has to be a certain amount, but you don't. For what he's delivering, he delivers it in a thorough way that you can understand it without having to be, let's say, a scientist or a doctor. He knows how to deliver his message and people can understand it, and he presents examples. So there's a lot about, and I think back to people that went against the narrative or wanted to go against the narrative and expose stuff. I can think of a couple of people, a UK reporter, I can think of a president in the US, where it was directly more so someone got involved for assassination or just wiped them off the planet. But now that is more difficult to do, especially as we're opening up and understanding things a bit more, and it would be too obvious that it's the way it's done is totally killing one's soul or character, that they might not even be able to come back from it the way they used to be. There's clear cases like Epstein and Cosby that, you know, were very clear and proven guilty, then yes. And they need to, you know, that's their sentence. Or even, I think Epstein wasn't even brought into court and then was said to have committed suicide. That's a whole nother story, obviously. But again, he's obviously someone, RB, that has had access to whatever he's wanted when he's worked within his earlier years, and he was very open about it. And that, like I said, opens doors for contexts to be taken out of hand. But it seems like everyone's that's after him is already implanted this guilty thing. And I'm going to end with one sentence that, apart from what I'm stating now, one really needs to think about. There's also someone in Belmarsh prison that tried to expose beyond the narrative and is locked away in prison, and has been trying to have a trial of not to be sent to another country. The initials are JA, because I think he believes that he's probably just going to be unalived when he gets there, in some way forgotten. And he was exposing stuff. I've written something here. I don't know what note I've written because I've made some bullet points just to make sure that I cover most of it, and I cannot understand what I've scribbled. But it seems like it's at a peak time. I think he had sold out shows, etc. And it could be one thing that's been said, and it's kind of like, you know what? You need to tell X newspaper, X channel about this, because in fact, this could be taken as SA, abuse, S, abuse, RAPE, etc. I have to be careful when I'm not talking to the Patreons, my Patreons, that of what I state. And it's an easy target when you put your past out there, but then we always want to share past experiences because it provides healing to others, it provides a community, it provides relatability, and I think that's what he's been doing along the way. I have not checked his YouTube channel out. I don't know what it is, but what I know is he's changed his life around, and he has been very open on the way and what he does right now. And so I do think he's taken down a spiritual route, but then that's what happens. And you're going to find a strong split of people on this, on what their thoughts are. But like Katy Perry stating that, that's an organization coming into play as well. And I really don't understand how there shouldn't be some, not confidentiality, but boundaries on how much someone can actually, you know, how much something like this can be put out into the media before even the police have got involved and there's proper investigations and someone's proven guilty. There's already right now a whole facade around it. And when I saw his Instagram, and then today I opened my YouTube and there's thumbnails, one of them was like, you know, if you watch his Instagram video, he's the one that was about 6 days ago, probably now it's 6 minutes. The first video, he talks about it where he's going to defend himself. He has his hands up like that. And the thumbnail I saw is like that, saying open hands going like that means nervous. Now that to me doesn't mean someone's guilty. I would be extremely nervous. I'm sure you would be. A lot of us would be extremely nervous if you're seeing the whole world is just suddenly, you know, coming into this thing and either accusing you of something you've not done or something that's being taken out of context and something very serious. Like I said, that allegation is extremely serious. No one should ever face that from anyone, regardless of who it is. But how are you going to control when you see things spiraling out of balance and your name just getting tarnished? You know, the whole show has been put on hold now. YouTube is demonetized. That's probably where he got a lot of his income. But even though it's probably the least of his worries right now because of him trying to prove that he is innocent, if he's innocent, or clear the context of what may have happened, may not have happened, whatever it is. So, you know, that could be just clickbait again, that I see a lot of YouTubers somehow deciding to just put these titles. I didn't click on it. I don't like to watch a lot of news. First card just fallen out. I don't know whether to take it. I'm going to put it, but this is kind of like you're going on a journey and suddenly there's a block in the journey and you need to think of redirection of your journey, which probably there is a block, isn't there? Guilt is where you've been overgiven, okay? You've been overgiven and someone else is not pulling their weight. Obviously, guilt can mean guilt as well, but in this context, it's about feeling a bit of shame, and we're getting cards coming out. Gossip, balance. Gossip is about these small, obviously there's gossip around him, and there's a need to balance balance what's happening around him. I'm going to read these intuitively as opposed to their meanings now, because gossip means, you know, just try to see someone else's perspective and appreciate someone else's perspective, which he can do. At the same time, there's a lot of gossip going around, okay? And I feel that is causing him to feel quite a bit in his solar plexus and feeling a bit blocked on the way forward, where he's trying to balance what he's feeling with his mental thoughts and the way that he needs to go forward. The guilt and shame again, where he felt like maybe he's been overgiving or something in that maybe if it's to do with the relationship that they had, maybe he you know, at that stage he'd said he was, you know, very at a stage in his life promiscuous. He wasn't necessarily looking for, let's say, marriage or stable relationships or whatever maybe, and so this is where one party's giving more than the other, and maybe that's what he's looking at, but there's a block in his journey of going forward, which we know right now. I didn't even ask a question, which I should always ask a question. I'm going to ask now, how is he feeling? I don't want to ask the outcome. How is he feeling and his current energy? Russell Brands. Spirit, please. A lot of money. Six of Pentacles, okay, the Nine of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Everything he's worked for, he feels that is now at a standstill. Everything he's worked for, he feels like he's held back, okay. There's fear here, there's fear of what he's going to be confronted with. There's a very difficult decision that he's going to have to make. And I think this is around maybe to silence them. They just want money. Some people might not be the victims, but like the broadcasting. And so it might be an exchange of money to balance it all out, where he's seeing, look what I've grown. I've been working really hard on. I was doing absolutely great in my life. And you know, this is like entrepreneurial, even my physical, spiritual health, and also earning, you know, self-reliant, having the abundance that I need. And that is all just going, that is all where I am faced with this difficult decision. And at the moment, he's trying to handle fear. He's trying to handle not looking back and feeling resentful. There is a challenge. I think, you know, there's going to be something about money. Four of Cups is where you're feeling, yeah, so that's where he was and that's where he's now at. He's like, I worked so in, you know, this was all to do with being balanced, what he'd worked on, where he was reaching, and then suddenly he's in this. He's not happy, he's upset, he's disappointed, he's just not he's looking for the clarity, and like I said, the balance of his mental and emotional self as well. And he really just wants to move away from this chapter in his life right now. And that might just mean that, you know, he's going to try and save his name. And that might come with, you know, there's two ways to this. I think he's either going to just to get out of the whole thing is to try, I think they're going to ask to come for an agreement of money. Now, it depends on him whether he wants to go to court on this. And he is actually thinking about that. A lot of money needed and involved in this. There is stuff that we're not getting told. There is hidden truths. This could be from, you know, the victims not fully telling the truth out there. And so that's what's not out there, okay? The truth is not really being revealed, and not everything is being told by this younger person, when it was to do with when he approached her and their love that they were in. There's something hidden. They're not telling the absolute truth on the full story there. So I'm going to leave it at that, but there's the mental clarity that he's seeking. Mental clarity that he's seeking. And there are some lies around this as well. Probably, from what I'm going to say. My last message on this, and this I think ties in with that. And even the moon, okay? This was my last message from the beginning before these cards. The newspaper and the channel that are reporting on this, that seem to be together. I'm not going to use a targeting because I don't know the facts, but they are coordinating. It's not easy to handle that. What you're not seeing is that they don't care about women. They don't care about abuse. They don't care about SA. They don't care about the truth of the matter or the crime. This is beyond that. You know, this is not about sticking up for SA victims. Please understand that. That's what I'm going to leave you with. And there's the lie and deceit behind it. Using this, that's hidden. There's your mental clarity that I've given you. So I don't think I'll be doing another reading on this unless it unfolds, but I just really wanted to say that, because even when you're speaking on, you know, if it's not on like Patreon, etc., it's about conforming to what is needed. We need to get away from that. We need to be in an area of freedom of speech. We need to be able to, I thought we were getting to the level of freedom of speech where it is promoted, but actually you are torn down in different ways in terms of your freedom of speech, even in hidden ways, just like the moon says, just like we'll take you down in hidden ways. So again, these are serious allegations. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty, and whoever is proven guilty by the courts of law and honestly proven guilty requires their crime sentence. But just think about what I said about the media channel and the newspaper. Their plot is not to support SA victims, any victims, or the crime. This is beyond that. And think about a couple of the examples that I gave you of things that are coming up where conformity may be needed. If you like this, give it a like, subscribe. Please understand that no hate will be tolerated in the comments. Constructive disagreements, agreements is constructive. I have not given my opinion about the crime or who is guilty, who is innocent, and who's lying. I have given an if you've watched this to the end, you know what I've mentioned. It's for entertainment purposes only. Please use your discernment, research the facts, look into whatever you want to look into. This is allegedly my opinions, and at the end I've used divination of cards to also just see what message comes through. Take care, everyone, and bye for now. I actually just wanted to add, because these two cards fell while I was doing the first lot, prayer and perseverance. So this is what is needed for him right now, is to persevere and prayer they were fell on the side here. So I just wanted to actually share that with you, and that's probably what the advice is to him, and I think it's probably what he is feeling is needed as well right now. All right, take care and bye for now.